So we start with the sun. The sun hits the leaves of the plants. There's a structure in the leaf called a chloroplast, and it's green. Remember all this stuff back there was green? So the plant cells have a special organism or a special organelle called chloroplast that collects sunlight, and it has a chemical process that goes on. Sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water combine inside the chloroplast, do a bunch of chemical magic that we'll see in a moment, and they release oxygen and one other component that's really important that we're going to see in the next slide. So the basics of photosynthesis are sunlight combines with carbon dioxide and water in the leaves of the plant, and as a byproduct releases oxygen. That's the main thing. So how do plants do that? That was our question. How do plants do that? They take up water from the roots. Remember, water is hydrogen and oxygen. Plant roots usually live in soil. Sometimes they live right in the water. Sometimes they even live in the air. But all plant roots take up water. They need water to do this process. They take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It's the air around them. That could be the air above the soil or the air below the soil in the pockets between the soil particles. They also need light energy, which plants get from the sun. And inside the chloroplast, the plants perform chemical reactions within the chloroplasts, and they create glucose molecules. This is the important molecule to the plants from this process, because this is the food. Glucose is a molecule that we call sugar. It's a real simple starch, and we use it as our own nutrition in all those plants that are back there on the table. Many, many animals and other organisms use glucose as their primary food source. Glucose then can combine with other materials to make more complex foods. But for the plant, the most important function is that it takes the carbon dioxide and the water in the presence of light to form glucose. That's the magic conversion that is happening. It's not really magic, it's just science. But the conversion is really important because the sunlight is our main source of energy, and the plant is creating food from that sunlight and carbon dioxide and water. As a byproduct, the plants release oxygen. So why is that important? That's all a bunch of gobbledygook so far. The reason it's important is because plants provide the basis of the food chain that we rely on. So if we didn't have any plants, what do you think we would eat?
Just meat.
Just meat. But what would the meat eat?
Yeah, that's a good
How
point.
would we have
We
meat?
wouldn't have any.
I don't like to eat dirt, and I bet you guys don't either. So if we didn't have plants, we'd have a pretty rough existence. So plants are autotrophic. Here's the new vocabulary word. Autotrophs are organisms that create their own food. There are some other autotrophs besides plants, but plants are the largest number of autotrophs. Plants are an important part of the carbon cycle. Remember, the carbon is an important element for all life forms. Carbon, we could see, goes in as carbon dioxide, comes out as part of this molecule, glucose. So the carbon cycle we hear about all the time, our carbon footprint, fossil fuel burning, carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases. The carbon cycle is important to the health of our planet, and plants are a very important part of that. Photosynthesis is the first level of the food chain. That autotrophic action of plants creates the food, which is stored energy from the sun's light energy. Photosynthesis changes light energy from the sun into chemical energy, glucose. And glucose is a basic food source for many living things. I found this very simple, nice diagram. I really like that diagram because it shows in a simple fashion, these things go into the chloroplast. Where do we find the chloroplast?
In the leaves.
In the leaves, right. And these things come out. So here is a complicated slide, and we don't need to know all of these steps today. We're just getting an introduction. This big green oval is the chloroplast. There are the inputs. This is the part of the reaction that light is one of the inputs, and oxygen is a byproduct, and the glucose molecule is the actual product that we're looking for if we're a plant. So you don't need to know all of these steps, but this is a more detailed diagram for how that works. Okay, so for review, I have a worksheet for you. This worksheet is just a blank diagram that you can fill in the blanks. And you should have all the answers in your science notebook and on your organizer. You may work in pairs to get that completed in class. And while you're working on that, we have a fun video with music for you to work by. This is more for your entertainment than your information. But it is fun. I'm looking forward to using it. Please.
And we can work with partners?
You may work together to complete your...
Awesome.
I don't know how any of you look time.
30 seconds.
3 minutes?
30
seconds. Okay. So in the interest of time, we'll lower the volume. And for your homework to extend the learning on this project, I'm going to assign you a web quest. And the web quest had a second handout, which didn't come out. I'm giving you a second handout. This is a web quest for you to go online, determine all the answers, and that will be due next class period. So we'll listen to the video some more as you wrap up and clean up for your next class.